be more profound. Law and order is breaking down in the largest state in this country, California. The mayor of Oakland, Libby Schaaf, warned illegal immigrants ahead of a planned federal raid that allowed them to flee. And now 3 of those who did flee, all Mexican nationals, have been arrested for newly committed crimes that include robbery, DUI, and spousal abuse. All of this could have been avoided, of course, were it not for Libby Schaaf, the mayor of Oakland. She says she did nothing wrong. Watch.
And while I am very committed to being a law-abiding citizen, I feel confident that my sharing this information, because I did not receive it through official channels, is legal, and frankly, it's my ethical obligation. Residents should know that they do not have an obligation to open their doors if an ICE official knocks.
Joe Alioto Verniz is an attorney. He's running for San Francisco DA, and he joins us tonight. Joe, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
So 2 of these guys were wife beaters. What would you say to their wives?
2 of the guys that were arrested one of the guys had been convicted.
That is correct, and another has
right.
been charged subsequently for physically abusing his spouse after the mayor of Oakland allowed him to flee detention. So his wife was injured, according to police. What would you say to her?
Well, the bigger question is this. We are a law of nations, right? So if there is a lawful order to keep somebody or to hand somebody over to ICE, there is no evidence that any sanctuary city in the world, or in the United States rather, has not followed through with that lawful order. ICE is following up with these detention orders. They're called detainers, and the problem is that these detainers are voluntary. They're not lawful orders. And so it's a little inflammatory to say that, oh, we're just handing these people over. If there were lawful orders, if there was better cooperation between the sheriff's department, then yeah, you're right. You would have...
But what you're not describing what actually happened. What happened is the mayor of Oakland warned people, affirmatively warned them so they could evade detention by federal immigration authorities. 3 of them, at least, went on to commit other crimes during the time that they would have been detained. They were warned by her, and one of them beat his wife. And so among the many questions I have is, what would you say to her? She wouldn't have been beaten if the mayor of Oakland hadn't done that.
Tucker, there is no evidence that these people actually received the information that the mayor put out. There were 800 people that they were looking for. 232 were actually arrested. Now, I served on the Fugitive Recovery Enforcement Team for the City and County of San Francisco when I was with the police department, and 30% is really good. I mean, you would ask anybody that is on
There's no evidence. Would that be your answer? Would that be the answer to the wife? It's not. There's no evidence they heard what the mayor said. I mean, the truth is, the mayor did warn these people, whether they heard it or not. You're right. We don't know. But is that the risk we're willing to take? I mean, what do you think of that? They committed crimes. They would have been detained were it not for Libby Schaaf. That's something you're happy to defend?
No. What I'm defending is due process. Everybody is entitled to due process. The 14th Amendment, unfortunately for ICE, says that, you know, even people that are here unlawfully are entitled to due process.
But so that doesn't. But that's a separate question. This is the mayor, quite apart from that question. Oh, is it really? So she warns them. She says, in effect, flee so you don't get caught. She has no legal or moral obligation to do that. She did that for political reasons, and this is the effect. People got away and went and committed other crimes. It's not about due process. It's about, should elected officials be warning people so they don't get arrested by the feds? That's insane, most people would say. You don't think it is?
Look, the better question is, should these cities be cooperating with the feds? And under certain circumstances, I absolutely believe that they should be. And when there's a violent criminal, yes, there should be better cooperation between the feds. You know, you'll find that a lot of these police departments, including San Francisco, has police officers that are embedded in the federal task forces within the city. We do it for terrorism. We do it for other issues.
But these guys had priors. For some reason, this
immigration issue... No, I get it. I absolutely get it. And
okay,
yes,
so
for
just to be clear,
you're not been convicted. These people should be arrested.
Okay.
They should be given their due process. If they're convicted, they should serve their sentences and sent out of the countries. Absolutely.
So maybe Democrats in the state shouldn't warn them before the cops come. That's it. I mean, you know, we can have lots of debates about federal immigration law, but I think we both agree you shouldn't be telling criminals, get out of town before you get busted. Here's the other question. It's not just about immigration.
Definitely not violent criminals. That's
when
for sure.
They were, actually. Armed robbery. As you said, one of those guys had a prior conviction for wife beating. I thought we were on the side of women here. Apparently not. But let me ask you this. Well, every illegal alien who's working in the state of California, if he's working for a company, is by definition committing fraud with the ID he's using. He's using fake documents. That's a felony. Is that not a big deal? It seems like a big deal post 9/11 to me. Is that a concern for you as someone running for DA, that someone's using fake documents, identification documents?
Well, listen, if it's a violation of federal law, the federal enforcement should definitely take over.
No, it's not a violation of California law. Wait, hold on. It's not a violation of California law to use a fraudulent ID for the purposes of getting a job or doing anything else. That's cool in California. I can do that.
Well, actually, in San Francisco, if you are not a U.S. citizen, you can get a California ID. So you don't have to use fraudulent IDs for your job.
Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do, because you need to produce a Social Security number, and if you're here illegally, you can't do that. No, you can't get a federal Social Security number.
You can't produce a Social Security number that is accurate or reflective.
That is true. You can use a fraudulent one, and every one of the. Okay, but that's not a problem for you. You feel like, hey, hands off. Someone's using a stolen ID, committing identity theft, a fake federal document in California. It's like, you know what? It's not our business. Is that what you're saying?
No, identity theft is an entirely different subject. But federal immigration enforcement or federal Social Security law is not the priority of San Francisco.
Apparently not.
Or the San Francisco
Okay, well, I go there
office.
a lot, and I'm going to think through. I'm going to call you and find out what laws I can break as an American citizen. Not many, I'd bet. Not as many as the illegals get to, it doesn't seem like.
That's not true. You know, I understand you're a local boy from here in San Francisco anyway. When does the prodigal son come back home?
I don't know if I dare. Joe, good to see you tonight. Thank you.
Good to see you too, Tucker.
Jose Mangana is an immigration attorney, and he joins us tonight. Jose, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Tucker.
So the president, as you know, has put on the table, and Republicans, you just heard from the senator, are willing to back up legalizing, giving amnesty to 1.8 million people who came here illegally. If that happens, if Trump does sign a bill giving citizenship to these people, will you vote for Trump? Will anybody in that group vote for Trump?
So, Tucker, I can't vote for Trump because I'm actually a DACA recipient. I've been here for 30 years. I have 2 U.S. citizen brothers. I'm a small business.
I'm very aware of that, but I'm including you in that. So if this goes through, you will get a path to citizenship.
Unfortunately, this won't go through, Tucker, because the plan that the White House has proposed simply has no legs. I've met with hundreds of Republican offices in the House and in the Senate. There's not 18 votes in the House, and there's not even 50 votes in the Senate.
There's no doubt that a lot of Republicans on the Hill are adamantly in favor of open borders. That's why these people are here in the first place. I mean, you don't need to convince me of that. So, but I don't want to argue the politics of it. I want to argue the principle of it. What matters? What's right and what's wrong? What about this bill is unacceptable to you?
So I want to know what happened to the President Trump that campaigned during 2016 who promised to be an advocate of legal immigration. This framework would radically cut legal immigration to levels not seen since the Great Depression.
That's not true,
it's
actually.
Absolutely
no, levels
true.
not seen since 1995,
since
but whatever. You get the wrong numbers. But look, I'm not going to get them in your face. The point is, this bill does what specifically that you think is unacceptable? Chain migration stays. It's limited to the nuclear family, but you still get to bring your nuclear family. They just can't bring a lot of other people after them. Should they be able to? I mean,
well, President Trump himself during the campaign promised that he would put a big, beautiful door at our nation's border for legal family immigration.
So this would bring, we get 500, let's just say 500,000 legal immigrants a year. What should be the number if that's not enough?
So right now we have about a million, actually, that get
over
green cards.
Right.
I think the number should be slightly more. I think during S744,
should be what? Because why?
I think 1.5 million, 2 million, because immigration makes this nation consistently great. You know, 86% of the American public, including 79% of registered Republicans, want the Dreamers to stay here, but not
but actually no. I mean, as long as you're going to throw poll numbers around, with which I'm familiar, there's no group of Americans that wants 2 million legal immigrants a year. I mean, Pew just polled this 2 weeks ago. People want less legal immigration.
But
whatever.
86% want the DACA recipients to stay, but not under the deal that the president has proposed.
And that's bad. Why? He's giving citizenship to people who came here illegally, 2 million of them, and that's racist because why? Exactly. No, I'm serious. Like, what specifically?
The president has had an opportunity to make a bipartisan deal on this, but he rejected the Graham-Durbin proposal, which would end the diversity visa, reduce family immigration, and fund the wall with billions of dollars.
Look, please don't get political with me. I just want to talk about the policy. Like, what about this specifically? So this would prevent people from bringing their relatives who aren't part of their nuclear family. Do you think that people should be able to come here legally, get amnesty, citizenship, and then bring who? Grandparents, uncles, cousins? Like, what do you want specifically?
I think our system is incredibly restrictive. Already, you can't sponsor grandparents, uncles, cousins. It takes decades to bring your family here, and often they can't come because of collateral provisions in the INA. So we have a restrictive system already,
So you should be able to bring, you should be able to come here illegally, get amnesty, then become a citizen. You didn't go through the normal path. You snuck in the country. You're here illegally, but we give you amnesty, and you should be able to bring your cousins, your uncles, and your grandparents. That's what you believe.
Most of those normal paths are actually being eliminated by the White House immigration proposal. If this White House is so committed to legal immigration, why is it trying to end it?
No, but these are people who came here illegally. We have no duty to keep them. We could deport them, including you. No offense. I'm just saying, like,
I hope you wouldn't deport me, Tucker.
Well, lots of countries deport people. Lots of them. Dominican Republic, Japan, Israel. A lot of countries do it.
But we don't set our immigration policies based on other countries.
We don't. I'm just saying we have no moral responsibility to deal with people who aren't citizens, because our responsibility is to citizens. So people sneak in here. They're here illegally. We give them citizenship, and it's immoral not to let them bring not just their parents and their siblings, but their grandparents, their uncles, as you said, and their grandparents. That's your position.
So this proposal actually would affect even individuals who come to the United States legally and want to sponsor their family. I thought the Republican Party was all about family, but this essentially makes it easier to break families apart.
Well, but you don't have to come here if you don't want. I don't know if you knew that. You don't actually, it's our country, and you don't have to come if you don't want.
It's my country too, Tucker.
No, I don't think it is, because I don't think you're a citizen, are you?
I'm not, but I've been here for 30 years. I own property in D.C. I have 2 degrees. I am a small business owner. You want to kick me out, Tucker?
The basis of a country is citizenship. It's something against you personally. It just has to be that way, or else it's not a country, right?
Absolutely. So let's create additional legal channels for people to be able to bring their close
How about we decide who comes? How about we don't let people who come illegally bully us into bringing their relatives? How about we as Americans decide who makes the cut and who doesn't?
Actually, we already